Hey everybody, it's Pastor Jay Mast, and we are on the journey through the New Testament in a year, one day at a time, one chapter at a time, and we're in the book of Acts, chapter 18. And Paul has just departed from Athens, and he goes to Corinth. Think Las Vegas meets ancient Rome. It was corrupt, it was wealthy, it was sexually charged, and God is about to do something new in Corinth, and we read about it later in some of Paul's other letters, but Corinth is about to come alive. But he needs partners, and he picks up Priscilla and Aquila, who are tent makers. And Priscilla and Aquila work with him to make a living because he has few followers there in Corinth. He stays there for some period of time, over a year, ministering, and then when they're not making tents, they're reasoning in the synagogue and then eventually going to the Gentiles that are there. Paul said the very famous words in Acts 18:6, "Your blood is upon your own heads, I am clean, for now I will go to the Gentiles." It's something that's important. You can only do so much. You can share the gospel, but once you've shared the gospel, there's a verse that says that if you don't share, the blood is on your hands, but if you do share, the blood is on the hands of the person who heard, if they refuse. So you do what you can, and then you move on. And there were so many who rejected Paul's message, the message of the gospel, but he continued to preach. And one of the people who came around was Crispus. And Crispus, he said, he was a ruler in the synagogue, and when he believed and was baptized with his whole family, guess what happened? He brought a landslide of believers because of his influence. Gentiles and Jews came in. And so he was there for a year and 6 months in Corinth. They brought him to Gallio to be prosecuted, but Gallio would not prosecute him. And it's interesting, the charge in verse 13. This fellow persuades men to worship God, and contrary to our laws. But he persuades people to worship God. I'd love to have my enemies say that about me. You know, this guy is persuading people to worship God. And of course, he said, I don't want to be a judge in these matters. And he came to, after all of this, he finally, with much fruit, he goes to Ephesus. We've heard of that. We're going to be reading about that book a little bit later on when we get into it. And he goes down to Antioch, Galatia, Perga. So he continues moving and working, and he comes up, the Aquila and Priscilla, they find this guy named Apollos. He's born in Alexandria, and he's an elegant man, mighty in Scripture, and he came to Ephesus. And so God starts working through him, and he speaks boldly in the temple with Aquila and Priscilla, accurately. And as he continues to bring people along, it says that he vigorously refuted the Jews publicly from the Scriptures that Jesus is the Christ. In this chapter, God turns rejection to opportunity. It may look like the score is low at times, but God has so many people. He has partners planted that we can work with. Let's take this city. Let's reach the world. God has something for you to do. And like he said to Paul, don't be afraid. Don't be silent. I'll be with you everywhere you go. Hey, I'm looking forward to chapter 19 tomorrow as we journey through the New Testament in a year. You're one chapter closer.